Hey, what's up, Food Network? My name is Rob Hetrick, and I'm here to tell you why I should be on the next cake challenge. Basically, I'm the best undiscovered talent in North America. I've been doing this for my whole life. I've been doing cakes my whole life. I started doing it with my mom and grandmothers when I was just a little kid, watching them do wedding cakes and stuff. I'm completely self-taught, with the exception of the things that my mother and grandmothers taught me when I was a kid. When I started doing cakes full-time, their skills were all old school. You know, there's a lot of buttercream, a lot of flowers, a lot of, you know, piped borders, and you know, nowadays it's all fondant. It's all about carving. It's all about 3D. It's about airbrushing, and I really had to teach myself those techniques. Luckily, like I said, I have an artistic background to fall back to. I have, you know, I can draw, paint, sculpt, and a lot of that stuff to me came really in handy when I was working on cakes. But I had to teach myself fondant, and my biggest teacher for fondant was right here at Ace of Cakes, Duff Goldman and Jeff over at Ace of Cakes. I learned how to do fondant by watching Jeff on TV, watching him cover all those funky angles and the balls and the squares and the triangles and all that stuff that he does. When I started working with fondant, I thought you just set it on the cake and it like shrunk to it, like it was like shrink wrap or something, but a lot of wrinkly, torn, ugly fondant taught me that I was wrong. So I learned, like I said, I learned a lot of stuff by watching Ace of Cakes. Now I watch Cake Boss, I watch Fabulous Cakes, I watch Cake Challenge religiously. I have friends on Facebook like Debbie Gord from Debbie Does Cakes. She's awesome. If I ever need anything, I just shoot her an email, say, hey, how should I do this? You know, she's always cool to respond and let me know, you know, what techniques she uses or how she puts stuff together. But like I said, I'm completely self-taught. And so I just fall back on common sense mostly. If I need something, I don't use a lot of cake tools. I use a lot of just regular stuff around the kitchen. I do all my carving with a steak knife. I don't have anything fancy. I don't use an electric knife or anything like that. I use a pizza cutter to cut my fondant. Like I said, I just use common sense stuff that I need to work, and I make it work. If I need something, if I need a pattern, I don't go online and pay, you know, 20, 30 bucks for some fancy mold or some fancy, you know, impression mat. I go to Home Depot and I grab it off the shelf. If I need something with a screen, I grab a screen. I mean, you know, to me it's all just common sense. It's like use stuff that I have available to make things work the way I need them to work. And if you look at my cakes, I mean, you know, the proof is in the pudding right there, because you can see all the work that I've done. And most of it is done with just basic everyday stuff, basic everyday household things. My strengths with cakes are carving, 3D stuff, fondant work, and airbrushing. Those are my 4 strengths. When I get on Cake Challenge, that's what I'm going to fall back on. That's the stuff that I'm going to use to be successful and to win. Challenge is not a place for you to go and start bringing new techniques and be like, oh yeah, you know, that's a perfect place to learn how to do sugar flowers. I'm not going to bring, you know, a bunch of, you know, iso malt and silpat mats and stuff to try a technique out on Challenge that I'm not familiar with. I'm going to stick with my bread and butter. And like I said, my bread and butter are the 3D cakes, the fondant cakes. I do a lot of airbrushing. My goal, I like to reproduce things in cake form and make it look completely indistinguishable from the real thing. My competitive spirit comes from one place, and from the Marine Corps. I was a Marine, and I wasn't a cook. I wasn't a truck driver. I was a grunt. I was an 0311, and my job was to locate, close with, and destroy the enemy. I compete with people who don't even know I'm competing with them. Wherever I go, I want to be the best at everything I do. I've been at jobs before where, you know, I'll want to be the #1 at whatever it is. Whatever it is, I want to be the #1. I want to be the top guy. And I'll compete with people who don't even know I exist. You know, I'll look on the reports and I'll find the top guy for the month. If the top guy for the month is John Smith, then I'm like, hey man, I'm coming for you. I'm gonna beat you. You're in my sights. I got my sights on you. And, you know, let's say the next month I beat him. I'll come up to his cubicle and be like, bam, got you. And he'll be like, who the hell are you? And be like, don't worry about it. I got you. I beat you. You don't have to compete with me for me to compete with you. What I want to do with the money when I win is take my wife on her dream vacation. The whole time I've known her, we've been together for 14 years. We've been married for 11 years now. The whole time I've known her, she's always wanted to go to Venice. Not LA Venice, but real Venice, Italy. And I want to take her there. I think she deserves it, putting up with me for this whole time. She's an awesome person. She's a great wife. She's a terrific mother to my kids. And you know, me winning, I want to reward her. I want to thank her, you know, for all the time she put up with me, and you know, she's a cancer survivor. She just beat cancer this year. Yeah, and I really want to use that money to take her on her dream vacation, and just let her know how much I love her and how much I appreciate everything she's done. If you don't love what you do, yeah, I mean, this isn't for you. So, but for me, the real joy, the thing that makes it all worthwhile is when I drop off the cake to a party and I see the look on people's faces, and the children especially, when they come up to me and they give me the big hugs and the thank you, Uncle Robert, for doing my cake. I mean, to me, that's what makes it all worth it. That's what I truly love about doing this.